Hello, my name is Talethea, and I am hoping that you all will come along with me as I work and plan and research and execute my intent to go from working from home full time to living on board cruise ships while also working full time. So let's do it. How am I going to handle the different time zones? So that is actually a question that keeps popping up, which is awesome. Y'all keep the questions coming. I know I'm doing my own research, but man, whatever input or suggestions or questions you have for me being able to make this like a more successful thing, then bring them on. Now, to answer the question, looks like Cat123 on YouTube asked, "Have you considered that some parts of the world are asleep during American business hours? How will you enjoy and see other countries with a time difference? People do it, yes, but their jobs have flexibility. Do you have deadlines?" Just a thought. Thank you for your question and your support, Cat. We like support. Thank you very much. So that's actually a question I've been getting quite a bit since I announced my plan to kind of transition from working full time at home, living and working full time on cruise ships. So let's talk about it. It sounds somewhat more complicated than I think it will be. So we'll see how that goes, right? What comes to mind initially is, I guess, the fact that people are doing it already. I'll just be doing it from cruise ships. So we've got folks that are already working remotely internationally, right? You just kind of have to make sure that you show up when it's time for you to be at work and do it responsibly. Which I feel fine about. Millions of folks work non-traditional schedules. You got third shift workers, hospital staff, emergency responders, call center employees. In fact, I have definitely had a couple call center jobs where my hours were not the normal, quote, 9 to 5 job. So that's what I intend to do. I'm going to stay on the same time zone as my employer. So I'll just, when it's time for me to be at work and show up for meetings, that's where I'll be. So I feel like that'll be an adjustment, but it won't be one that's like absolutely impossible for me to adhere to, which is kind of nice. So my plan is, like, since I normally work, quote, like I said, a traditional first ship job, no matter where I am, whether the ship is like docked in Florida or somewhere between California or Alaska or wherever I go, right? The time zones might change, but I honestly feel like I'll still be able to keep my workday tied to Central Standard Time, which is the one that my job is currently running by. So that's kind of cool. Now, weird parts, things that might be, take a bit of an adjustment. Meal times, right? Excursions, my sleep schedule, that'll be something to adjust to. And then like different social activities that kind of go on the ship. Now, the real challenge I don't necessarily think will be my job. I think it'll be figuring out whether like breakfast is before work, is it after work, is it in the middle of the day? Another thing that I think is really cool that I'm kind of looking forward to is the whole idea of being able to use my PTO to get off, to have off a day or so, the hours that I already have in place, to go and take a tour in Alaska or do something cool like that. That whole plan kind of makes me smile. So I'm really looking forward to that part of things. Now, technology definitely makes this thing easier, right? We've got my smartphones will automatically adjust. We also have the world clock. That's an app that's on the phone that I can use to kind of keep track of where I am and what time it is there, and then what time it is during Central Standard Time, like for my employer, right? Calendar apps, right? I'll still have like different meetings and things. You still get alerts. I feel like those things will all still be in place, and just different notifications and things that pop up when you have stuff going on. So I intend to just keep those things in place as I kind of move around and see things in the world. Thankfully, we're not doing this whole thing with just paper calendars anymore, right? Which, don't get me wrong, I do still have my planner, but I also have my phone, my laptop, and the calendar, and everything that all shows multiple time zones at once. So I intend to just make sure to make use of all those particular resources. Now, the parts that I think might be the biggest adjustment might just be the mental adjustment, right? Like, I don't think I'll have a problem wanting to keep my job per se. What I think the mental adjustment will be is, I don't know. At this point, I guess I see me getting up, even if it's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning on the ship and nobody else is awake, but me being able to go and just sit and look at the water and work. I'm okay with that. I really am. I don't tend to have too many problems as far as staying disciplined and going to work and being there when I need to. So I don't think that'll be a problem either. Just making sure my sleep habits are rational. I feel strongly about sleep, so I also make sure I get to bed in time to be able to go and get the sleep I need so I can show up the way I need to. Sleepy me is not a happy me. So I just don't do that. But that'll also be something to keep in mind and consider it, right? So my current plan is like just to keep my work schedule anchored to my employee's time zone, the one that I currently work in, which is fine. And just like I guess third shift and international workers are doing now. So I'll keep that in mind. What do y'all think? Like, how do you think that will? I don't know. If you were planning to go and work full time and live on board cruise ships full time, what would you make sure that you had in place or were keeping in mind to be sure you could show up for work the way you needed to? This is what I have in mind. Being set up and just looking out and smelling the water and doing my job and being honestly, I can't see me being anything but a better employee by having my life being lived so that outside of work, everything else is such a delight and so much fun. Don't get me wrong, I'm not overlooking the potential drawbacks, right? Seasickness, motion, internet concerns, things like that. But I just intend to use my research cruises between now and when I am going full time to living on cruise ships, which is next year in May, to kind of find out, to get some fact finding, some actual hands on experience to find out how things are working and what I need to adjust to and what resources or tools I need to get to be sure that I can do it successfully. So stick around, y'all. You'll be able to see this thing in real time. Let me know, what questions do you have? What people do you know that work internationally or live and work aboard cruise ships, and how are they doing it? So let me know and keep the questions coming. Y'all are very helpful. Thanks. Take care.